Hello guys, Excellion here. This time discussing a bit of a controversial topic, and that is different builds. More specifically, full AP builds, accuracy builds, evasion builds, and so on. For the Musa, of course. Now, before I get started, I want to stress very deeply that all of this is strictly my own opinion and my own experience and testing that led me to these conclusions. This is by no means the way to go. With that said, let's get started. First of all, let's talk about AP scaling. How does it scale? How much power do we get actually for every, say, 10 AP? And how does it fare against different builds? First of all, thanks to Big and Shiny for providing this test. And I know he does this test reliably with big samples, so we know what to expect from this test. I'm going to leave the test in the description below, and for specifically this video I'm going only to talk about the part 2 of the test, being the AP scaling versus 154 damage reduction, which is also full dead boss gear or tri-boss and Kutum. This is going to be your most normal target that you're gonna find in the game, and most of the other DP builds are usually on the evasion side. Okay, he found out that every AP point we gain, when the more AP we already have, gives us a lesser damage boost compared to the lower numbers. As we can see, going from 100 AP to 150 AP gives us a drastic 263% damage increase, while going from 200 to 251, and both being 50 AP gain, barely increases the damage by 36%. This is one of the reasons why I don't go crazy over 10 or so AP, when I'm already at 208 with accuracy of hand. This especially goes to people craving for every point of AP. Now, I'm not saying I'm stopping from getting more AP, obviously. I'm just saying, going from 208 to 219, which is soft cut with this offhand, can be easily overrated. And imagine if you're using an AP build where you have actually more and more AP. Going from 230 to 240 is going to be even less of a boost from going to 28 to 219, like in my normal build. But now, let's go to the actual matter, and most people ask me for advice. The big question: accuracy or AP? It depends. And this time, I've run myself a big test that helped me answer this, as well as helping me decide which offhand was better, and I say it again, in my opinion. So this is what I did. I compared black bow to white bow versus a full tri-boss gear target, and technically speaking, this is the lowest amount of evasion you're going to find in any endgame player. Full dead boss being a little bit over endgame. The average damage dealt by black was 2337 HP, while white did 2419. Now, this is the average. If we take a look at the maximum damage, black did 2777, while white did a kill, which is 3202 HP. But what about the minimum? For black it was 1859, and for white it was 1556. Now, I'd like to point out that the damage differences within black bow were affected by critical hits and not misses. I kept track of this during the testing. Of course, I cannot take those away because I'm trying to replicate a realistic PvP situation. We won't always have the same damage. While the differences in damage with white were not as much due to critical hits differences, but misses, and this is where I get worried. Being at the mercy of RNG in order to deal some more damage is not something that I like. So what do you think will happen when this tri-boss gear only becomes dead boss gear? having more evasion? And what about a tri-centaur belt? Or an evasion offhand? Do you think white is gonna put up a fight? I leave that to your own criteria. My personal conclusion from the test can be seen in here. And one of the things that motivated me to keep black bow as a best all-rounder is this little hypothetical scenario. Now, it's not news that here in EU, evasion is pretty much a ground standard. So let's say you're fighting 20 people, right? 15 of those are going full evasion, or at least an offhand. The other 5 are only tri-bows, and some of them dead bows only. You're going to deal, in average, according to this test, about the same damage as a black bow. Hear me out, but you will deal 0 damage to the other 15 guys. Now, with black, I can deal very good damage to those 15 evasion cons, and deal slightly less than white to the other 5. That is, of course, if white doesn't miss, because I know that black is going to be consistent. If you guys want the full test, I'll leave it in the description below as well. Following the same order of ideas, a 3-speeded belt, 2 red coral earrings cannot and will never replace the accuracy offered by a black bow, which has an insane amount of hidden accuracy upon enhancing. So don't expect to keep a consistent hit rate with only those 3 accessories, even versus only tri-bows gear. And I will tell you this, guys. If you like your AP build with some accuracy accessories, and it's been working out for you, that's perfectly fine. If you like it and it works for you, keep it. But then, don't complain when you find yourself in a situation when you will be dealing less damage, and you ask yourself, why I deal no damage at all when I have over 230 AP? Well, this is why. Because you're lacking accuracy. And whether you like it or not, accuracy is not a meme. Now, I know some classes don't need that much accuracy. I don't know why. I totally understand that it is unfair, but I'm not the developer of this game. And this is how it is for this class. We are stuck with accuracy if we want to deal some damage. Since a long time, I've already gave up on pressing I and finding pretty high numbers. I don't care how pretty it looks having 240 AP. My enemy will not press I and see the numbers that I have. I don't give a single fuck. What I give a fuck about is damage consistency. I want to see damage. I want to see that my PvP is working. It doesn't matter the number that it shows when I press I. Long time ago I gave up on pretty numbers. I just want effectiveness. And okay, let's say they ask you for your APDP and you don't want to say your low numbers when you have an accuracy of hand. Say another number, the one you would have with Kutum or Nuver or whatever, but you're not using it. It's just an equivalent. In the end, they don't know the number that is in your gear. But moving on, now that I explained why I prefer black bow over AP, even in group fights, let's move to my opinion on defensive builds for Musa, aka Kutum, Rosas, White Warrior Bows, and even defensive accessories such as Sicil and Centaur. I will be brief in this matter. I don't like defensive builds, because whether I use black or Kutum, if I fuck up in the middle of a group, I'm gonna die, even in 1v1 if he does the proper combo. I won't discuss the purpose of a high DP Musa in larger scale fights, because I don't know that area. I play on small scale fights. And even if you're going for DP builds, in my opinion, we don't even have DP buffs to further help the build and make it somewhat viable. But what you're also doing is crippling your damage by a lot. As a Musa, we need to play carefully, position-wise, and we can deal good chunks of damage without the fear of getting killed. Again, this is for small to medium scale. So there you have it, guys. Those are my thoughts, because I got asked my opinion on builds very often, and until something happens, I'm sticking to this. If you made it to here, I thank you very much for hearing me out, and I'll see you next time.